Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Lusna, and in this video, I will present about book review about novel entitled is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hussein. Okay, A Thousand Splendid Suns is a dazzling masterpiece by Khalid Hussein, an Afghan-American author. It is Hussein's second novel following his best-selling debut, The Runner. The story of A Thousand Splendid Suns revolves around the life of two Afghan women, Mariam and Laila. They are born 20 years apart. Their lives are intertwined through the stormy event of the book. Together, they fight against all odds after having faced them courageously. The genre this novel is historical fiction. The novel is work of fiction. However, it contains pieces of history within it such as the Taliban and the war. Thus, it is historical fiction since the wars and Taliban that even people in real life also affect the men-up people in this novel. Next is foundation. First setting. The novel begins in Herat, Afghanistan in the year 1974 within Mariam's childhood, and after Mariam's get married, the rest of the novel is set in Kabul, Afghanistan. The time period of the novel is relevant to the plot because all the characters are affected by major political changes. Point of view is third person omniscient told by the narrator. The point of view focuses back on the fort to Mariam and Layla, so you become attached to both character. Next is main characters. First, Mariam is one of the two main protagonists of the story. She is conservative, obedient, and hardly stand up for herself. Next is Layla. Layla, the other protagonist in the story. She is young, educated, beautiful, and overall a very happy girl. And then Tariq. Tariq is Layla's best friend and eventually her husband. He becomes a hero in the story because it's Layla's salvation from her miserable life. And then Rashid. Rashid is the antagonist of the story. He is Mariam's and Layla's husband. He is an athletic character because he constantly abuses his wife and never changes his attitude toward women. And then the last is Jalal Khan. Jalal Khan is Mariam's father who had an affair with Nana, Mariam's mother. He is dynamite character because as he aged, he begins to seek for forgiveness from Mariam. He feels quality that he never fought against social judgment, and because of that, Mariam rejected him. And secondary character. First is Nana, is Mariam's mother, who is bitter and resentful, and then Aziza is Layla and Tariq's daughter, and then Zalmi is Layla and Rashid's son. Hakim is Layla's father, who is very educated and wishes for Layla to be highly educated. And then Fariba is Layla's mother. And then Mullah Faizullah is Mariam's tutor and friend who gave her hope and comfort. And then Zaman is the director of the orphanage who treats the children very well by educating. And then Salim is an elderly man who meets Tariq in prison. And then the last is Syed, his silent brother who hires Tariq at his hotel. Here next plot summary. The novel begins with the life of Mariam, who is an illegitimate child of Jalil, who is a rich businessman. He decides to visit him at house, but he doesn't let her in and has a kidnapper drive her home. At home, she finds her mother committed suicide soon after. Jalil marries her off to a man named Rashid. Rashid abused her once he realized he kept having. Soon Rashid marries another woman, Layla. Layla loses her parents from a bomb. Before she married Rashid, Layla had intercourse with a childhood love story and gave birth to the daughter Aziza while he was married to Rashid. One day, Tariq mysteriously arrived at Layla's home, and Rashid finds out and he beats her. In response, Mariam beats Rashid to death with a shovel. Mariam turns herself into self-injured. Layla and her children have a better life. Layla and Tariq live their new life as a normal family in Kabul, where she as school teacher. Next is main event. The first main event is when Mariam plans on going to her father, Jalil, at his house in Herat with his three wife and other children. She wants to live with him because he has to be able to be with a father she adores all the time. When Mariam arrives at his house, he doesn't let her in. Uh, she, she ends up He ends up sleeping on the ground in front of the house until his stupor drives her back to her coma. However, when he arrives home, she finds that her mother committed suicide because she thought Mariam left her for Jalil, whom she despised for forcing them to live on the outskirts of town and for blaming Nana for the affair they had. And then this event really showcased the harsh reality of the novel and foreshadow the pain and misfortune that is to come to Mariam because she lost the only person that truly cared about her. Also, with Nana dead and Jalil not wanting his illegitimate child, it sets up the plot of Mariam being married off to Rashid. The second main event is Mariam being married of to Rashid. Soon after Nana's suicide, Mariam is sent to Kabul to be the wife of Rashid. In being his wife, Mariam loses any freedom that she once had or could have had. Mariam is subjected to the abuse of Rashid and is forced to do the housework for him, and she has no access to education. And then this even represents the gender inequality within Afghanistan. Since Mariam is a girl, she has little to no rights and can be moved around and married of as men. Being Rashid's wife exposes the treatment that men can give their wife, such as being abusive and mean. The situation Mariam is in highlights the social problem within her society. The third main event is Layla house being bombed and Layla marrying Rashid. In the midst of the fighting in Afghanistan, Layla's house is one that is in the crossfire. Luckily, Layla was outside, however, her parents were in the house and were killed. Mariam and Rashid then took her in to nurse her back to health. Rashid soon wants to marry, but is younger, and she agrees to it because that is her best option with no family to turn to a baby on the way. Um, Layla's marriage to Rashid is important to the story because it highlights the opposition to gender boundaries that Layla has. She used her wit to take advantage to Rashid's capability to take care of her, and eventually her child she has with Tariq, even though he thinks that he is he is taking advantage of a younger. Layla marriage to the Rashid also bring Layla and Mariam together in the story. The two female protagonists and set up their abusive life together with Rashid. The last is them or lesson and red. The theme of this book was about the different people coming together by tragic events and realizing all they have each other. A lesson that I learned was to never stop believing in something. In Lila's case, she knew that she was in love with Tori, and then she wanted to marry him, and even though she went through many hard times, in the end, they found each other and they got married. And then this novel really deserves to be appreciated. What is presented by Khalid in this novel bring us to the meaning of friendship and the sacrifice of love, infinite passion, and the suffering of women due to this domestic violence and the conquest of an authoritarian regime, the spirit of life in the midst of fading hope. Okay, that's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.